You have to insanely and obsessively believe that you can make it happen.
Someone cares about you.
There's a reason why your heart is beating.
You still have a purpose. Don't give up.
It's important to know that you're not alone.
You're not alone.
You're not alone.
You are not alone.
This week's guest is a 7-year Navy veteran, now serving as a reservist while he runs a full-time business and is currently living his American dream as a NASCAR Xfinity driver and team co-owner alongside NFL legend Emmitt Smith. Jesse Iwuji, thank you so much for joining me here on the 1 Mile, 1 Veteran podcast.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me on the show, and I'm looking forward to speaking with you and sharing my story and talking through all the things we're going to go through.
Absolutely. Well, take us back to the beginning, Jesse. How did you end up attending the Naval Academy?
Yeah, so getting to the Naval Academy, I would say rewinding back before that, right? Originally, I'm from Dallas, Texas. Grew up there my whole life. Both of my parents are immigrants from Nigeria. So when they came from Nigeria to the U.S., just like many immigrants who come over, they didn't have a lot. They didn't have a lot of money, didn't have a lot of anything. But they did have a dream. They did have a goal. That goal was to build a family here in the U.S. that would be successful because their parents told them, hey, when you go to the United States of America, you will have the opportunity to succeed. Like, there is a ton of opportunity. Don't let anybody tell you there isn't. There's more opportunity there than anywhere else in the world. So when you go there, it would be an absolute shame and disgrace if you did not make it, if you did not succeed. That's what their parents told them. So they got over here. They're like, okay, we got to make it work, right? So they moved to Dallas, Texas, grew up there, began raising the family there. Me and my two brothers and my sister. Naturally, because we're in Texas, Texas is a very big sports state, especially for schools. So, me and my brothers naturally gravitated towards football. My sister gravitated towards basketball, track, volleyball, all that. She played everything. And, we were very, very fortunate and blessed to all have the opportunity to get recruited by different colleges to go off to college and play sports. Me and my two brothers, we all went off and played college football. My sister went off and ran college track. Thank God we were all, it was all paid for by the school. So my parents didn't have to fork out any money besides maybe some plane tickets here and there for us to go, play these college sports. So the school that recruited me was the Naval Academy. It was a great school for me. I looked at it as a really good opportunity to go to a great place that I could get a great education, play football for a great team. And also one of the most important things to me was to be able to have a career started for me as an officer in the United States Navy when I graduate. So a lot of college kids, out there, they go to college and they graduate, have no clue where to go. Half of them go back home. For me, it was, I wasn't going back home. When I graduated, I immediately was assigned somewhere I had to go make stuff happen. So after the Naval Academy, so played football there 4 years, had an amazing time, beat Army, beat Air Force all 4 years, beat Notre Dame twice, played in 4 college football games, beat Missouri my senior year. Really fun time. Graduated in 2010, became a surface warfare officer in the Navy, and began my time then. And then that's kind of where my whole Navy career, I guess, started, which I'm still in the Navy now. I'm not active duty anymore. I was active duty for 7 years. I've been in the reserves the last 6 years now. And it's been an incredible time. I'm planning on doing my full 20. But while doing my Navy thing, I also ran into this crazy thing called professional racing.
I love the drive that your parents had. And I just want to go back a little bit to Annapolis, playing football for the Navy from a player's perspective. What was it like to be in the Army-Navy game, especially, as you said, winning out all 4 years?
Yeah, what it was like beating Army all 4 years was absolutely incredible. I don't have any losses to Army. So one cool fact that people don't know. So I went to the Naval Academy prep school for 1 year before I went to the Naval Academy. At the prep school, we played Little Army, which is their prep school. We beat them. I went to Naval Academy 4 years, beat Army all 4 years. After that, graduated. And before I went off to my first ship, the Naval Academy sent me to the Naval Academy prep school again to coach the Naval Academy prep school. So I was a DB coach, defensive back coach when I was there. And we beat Little Army again. So I actually have 6 football victories, 1 as a coach and 5 as a player against Army. Not once have they ever beat me. And for me, that's like incredible. Like, I have 0 losses to them. They can never tell me, no, you never beat me. So that's been great. And Air Force as well. I played them 4 times. we smacked them all 4 years. But it was fun. It was really cool going to the Army Navy game. Army isn't, they're not, Notre Dame. They're not USC, Ohio State. They're not those teams, right? But still, when you go to that game, there's still 80,000 fans out there, even though it's frigid cold. It's like 30-something degrees outside typically. It's never warm. But you go out there and you see all those fans in the Eagles Stadium. You're playing in an NFL stadium, the Eagles Stadium, super nice place, beautiful scene. And you're the only game on TV. Like for me, it was just super cool from my freshman year all the way to my senior year to be out there. It was incredible. But there's just nothing like it to know that everybody out there who's playing, we're not all going to go to the NFL. Maybe there's one or two people, but we're not all going to go to the NFL. We're playing because we love football. We're playing because we love our schools. We're playing because we want to beat the crap out of each other. But after it's all said and done, it's one team, one fight, right? We're going to graduate. We're all going to be in one big military, right? We're going to have the Army, the Air Force, the Navy. We're going to be all together, right? But before that, we get to beat each other up a little bit.
Well, it definitely sounds like you're a passionate and driven person. And having football as your background, when did you end up getting the idea to switch sports and start a career in NASCAR?
Yeah, so I've always had a passion for cars and racing ever since I was a little kid. When I was about 5, 6 years old, I used to watch that show Knight Rider, and it was with David Hasselhoff, and it had the talking car kit, and it was a pretty cool show. So that was kind of my first entry into liking cars, and then from there, every car show that I would watch, everything about cars, I always loved it, thought it was cool, but never got into it. Like I never even went to a car type event, I think, until my first event that I went to that had anything to do with cars was maybe like late in college. I mean, it took a while, even though I had this crazy passion for it. I just never went to anything because I didn't have a chance to. When up and through high school, my focus was football, so I couldn't go do anything else. When I got to college, I was at the Naval Academy and we were very busy, so I couldn't go do anything else. Not until my last couple of years when I got a little bit more free time on the weekends. So my first car style thing I went to was my freshman year in college. We went to a bowl game in Charlotte, North Carolina. And one of the bowl gifts or the bowl activities was they took us to Charlotte Motor Speedway. That's what it was called at that time, or Lowe's Motor Speedway. And we got a ride in a 2-seater race car around the track. So we're going probably maybe 150 miles per hour or so around the track, but riding up against the wall and everything. That was my first experience being in a race car. I didn't get to drive, but I got a ride. And then after that, I took my own personal street car to a drag strip, I think my junior year or senior year in college. And that was my first time actually doing something on track. And then that blossomed after that. After I graduated college, football was over. So I needed that next fun, exciting sport to do. And racing was cool to me because I'm like, okay, well, my body's not going to hurt all the time like it did in football. And it's like really fun. You get to go fast. It's competitive. And it just, there's so much to it. There's so many different aspects, right? It's not just, can I out physically will you? It's like, can I outsmart you with my car? Like, can I build it better? Will my car last? Right? It's so many different things. So that's kind of what got me into it. And then once I went to got to California, I was stationed there. There's a lot of tracks in Southern California, road course tracks, drag strips, drift tracks, you name it, all these different tracks in SoCal. So I started going to events at these different tracks, and that really started kind of building my interest in racing. And then it took about 4 years. And then finally one day I just made this crazy decision. Hey, I want to take this to the next level. I want to go from doing these amateur events to doing professional events. And I just made the decision. I just put my foot down. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go do whatever I can and become a professional race car driver. And I wrote that on my whiteboard that I had on my wall. And I put it on my wall and said, the deal's done. That's it. Like, it's done. Like, it's now already happened in the future. It's already happened. I just have to survive and not die and get there.
It really sounds like you worked on the goal from the backwards. You said, okay, I'm here at an undetermined time. You still had your naval commitment, but my ultimate goal is that I am a NASCAR driver. And it sounds like you started working that goal backwards. And so what was it like starting a new sport that you were hoping to turn into a career later in life?
It was tough, but it was cool. It was cool because I was starting back from the bottom again, right? Like in football, I had made it to the highest level of college football, Division 1A college football, right? Like that's where every kid wants to get to. I mean, everybody has NFL dreams, but like only a very, very small percentage will actually get picked because it's not completely on you to be able to go to the NFL. You could be one of the best players out there and you just literally don't get picked, So but what you can somewhat control is getting to college and playing college football. Like, even though once again, you still got to get picked, but there's a lot more schools out there. So there's a lot more opportunity. So you have a lot better chance of at least getting to play college football. But to get to play Division 1A football, which is the highest level, and now they call it like, the FCS, FBS, all that stuff, but it's still, everybody still knows what D1A is. And to be able to play that level, play against big teams, and then not only play against these teams, but have winning seasons every single year, go to bowl games every year, beat Missouri, a Big 12 school at that time. I think, Big 12 at that time, to beat them, and not just beat them, like smash them, to beat Notre Dame twice, it was incredible. So to playing college sports, I took me time. It took me from 7th grade till the end of college, which, that was about 10-year time frame of 10 years of playing football. It took me that time to really kind of get to my best level in racing. Like, I started off way late than everybody, and then I'm still grinding my way. And even in racing, like, I haven't, there's only been a few seasons that I've actually ran the full season of whatever series I was running. Once I got to a national level, I've only kind of run part-time seasons, because funding, it costs a lot of money to race. So I find a certain amount of funding and I do what I can to race as much with it. But it'd be awesome if I could have run full season every single year and all the things I've been running. It would put me in an even better place right now. It just costs so much money. So it's been difficult, but it's been fun at least tackling this thing. Like, for me, my goal was just to jump in, have fun, go out there and run as well as I can and do as good as I can. And, ultimate goal is to eventually win a race, right? Whether I win one in my career or I win 10, whatever, that's the goal, is to eventually win a race. And it's all possible. It all is possible. It's not easy at all. Not every driver is ever going to win a race. And there's a lot of great drivers who are solid drivers who will never win a race in their life because it's just that hard. Right? It's not like football. In football, basketball, soccer, it's only 2 teams playing against each other. So somebody has to win. In racing, there's 40 teams racing against each other. So you're not like, somebody has to win. Yeah. But there's not like a guarantee that you're ever going to win.
Well, what type of mindset did you have to develop to be able to fight through a lot of the noise, because you were coming in at such a later time in life than most NASCAR drivers get their start? And, you're getting opportunities at the professional level where other people might say, hey, like, I've paid dues, but there's Jesse Iwuji. He's making his own team. He now has his NASCAR license to be able to be on the track. How do you fight through that noise?
Yeah. There is a ton of that noise, right? Some people will say that. And at the end of the day, whatever dues anybody paid, like, you didn't pay the right dues, right? Like, to get to the level you want to get to, there's certain things that have to happen. So you have to do what has to happen to get there, not what you think has to happen or what you used to think has to happen, right? There's a lot of people who are like, hey, I raced this, I raced that, I did well, I maybe won this championship, do this, that, whatever. I should be there. Well, if what you did is exactly what you need to get to this level, then you would have got to this level. That's not, right? I've seen plenty of people, good drivers, win a truck series championship the very next year, not even very next year, the very next few days, they're like off the team, and that team found somebody else because the other person had more funding or something like that. So, once again, you have to figure out, okay, what does it actually take to run in certain series or to move up the ladder and do this and that? And that's what I did. Because I came from the outside, I didn't get stuck into whatever the old mindset was for certain things. I came in as a brand new baby, and I was like, okay, I'm just seeing everything, and I analyzed it all. Luckily, I have an analytical mind, so I looked at it all, the whole spectrum, what gets people in, what keeps people in, and what gets people out. And I analyzed it all. I put together what I thought was going to work, and I focus on those things to get to where I need to go. Now, does that, make me the best driver out there? No. Does it make me the best marketing person out there? No. Does it make me the best this? No. But I figured out what was necessary, what was needed, and I tried to be the best I could for where I was coming from to get to where I needed to go. So it's all about figuring out what are the pieces to the puzzle and then going and finding it. Whether you agree to the pieces of the puzzle or not, it doesn't matter. Like, if you want to get somewhere, you got to do what's necessary to get there, not what you think you need to do or what you want to do. It's not about what you want to do. It's what you have to do. And that's what I did.
I absolutely love that. Sometimes having a fresh perspective and the drive to do what's necessary is so important in accomplishing your goals. And speaking of the other people's perceptions or reactions, what was the reaction like from your command in the Navy when you started competing professionally in NASCAR series races?
Yeah, it was good actually. It was very, very good. Luckily I was on shore duty at that time, right? So I wasn't on the ships. If I was on the ships, I think they still would have been especially the commands I was at. I think they would still have been cool with it, but I wouldn't have had as much time to do it because at the end of the day, once a ship has to go underway at sea, like we got to go at sea, right? We got to go. We got like there's no. I can't be like, oh wait, hold on, I'm not going to go underway because I have a race. I have to go. Right. So luckily, thank God, I didn't start really doing this racing thing until I was on shore where I could actually have time on the weekends. And luckily, at the first few years of the levels I was running, which was like late models and at the time NASCAR K&N series, which now is ARCA West series. At that time, those races and all the things I had to do for that mainly was on the weekends, right? So like every once in a while we'd have a practice on a Friday night, but most of the time practice wasn't until Saturday. The races were on Saturday. So I'd fly out Friday night, race, do all that stuff Saturday, and then fly back Sunday morning and then be back at work on Monday. And I was able to do that for most of the races, and it never really interfered with my day job in the Navy. So that's how I was able to make that work. A lot of people ask me like, hey, I was in the military. I never had time to race. Well, you probably would have if you were on shore duty. As an officer, we go sea tour, shore duty. So I did my 2 sea tours and then I got to shore. And when I got to shore, I picked the shore duty that would give me some flexibility and I made it work. So once again, you got to do what is necessary to get to where you want to go.
That's really awesome. You can start to see your plan in action. Now, you had mentioned that racing is quite an expensive sport to especially get into unless you have big name sponsors and corporate teams kind of hiring you as a driver. But you're an owner and this is the second club that you've come to own. How did you finally decide to put aside your full-time paycheck as a naval officer and pursue racing more competitively?
Yeah, so I decided that in 2017, the middle of 2017 is when I did that. And it wasn't tough because there's once again, there was a methodical way of doing this, right? So I knew that I wasn't an idiot. So I knew that I needed to still find a way to make money, right? So when I first started racing, I knew that racing is expensive and that my normal Navy check isn't going to cover that expense. It can cover a few little things, but it's not going to cover the big expense of racing. So once I started racing, I also began my entrepreneurship route. And I started my first business. So I was, did my Navy job. I had a business on the side and I was racing. I was doing all 3 of those. And I thought I was so busy when I was doing all that. Now I have like 7, 8 businesses, still doing the Navy part-time, which is somewhat full-time in a way, and racing and owning a team and doing all that stuff. But anyways, at that time, I started the business to make extra money on the side. And I knew that was going to help build me up on that end so that eventually when I knew when I was going to get out, either whether I was going to go reserves or completely out of the Navy, that I'd have something going for me that would help me make income so I can keep going. Well, as time went on, I quickly realized that, okay, my Navy job is paying my bills and allowing me to live a normal life. My business is paying for my racing completely. My business was making more money than the Navy was paying me, but it was going towards my racing. But I knew that once I was going to get out of the Navy or at least get out of the active duty and go reserve side, I knew that reserve money wasn't going to pay me enough, right? I was going to be making like $500 a month or so, doing 1 week in a month or whatever it was. So that's not enough to live. So I'm like, okay, what else am I going to do? Because either I could stop racing and just have my business pay for my normal living, or I could have my business pay for the racing and go find another job to pay for my normal living. So then I utilized my marketing skills and I ran into a company called Magnuson Superchargers that makes superchargers for all different kind of vehicles. And they gave me a job as a marketing head of marketing and sales at the company. So pay was very similar to what I was making in the Navy, a little bit less, but similar. And I still had a day job to go. Now, as time went on with that company for about a year and a half, I'm going with them. And all of a sudden, I'm continuing to rise up to the next ranks of NASCAR, which get me more and more busy. Also, I'm getting more brand opportunities, sponsorship opportunities, different things are popping up that require more time for me. That company didn't really like that I was branching out and doing all these things. And they, basically told me, hey, you got to pick one or the other. And I picked all the stuff I was doing in life. And then they just let me go, like on the spot. Like 2 days later, I was out. So then I didn't have a day job anymore. My business money was still paying for a lot of my racing and then giving me a little bit of money on the side, but not that much. So now I lost like, $100,000 a year that was normally coming in, gone. I'm like, oh crap. So then I was like, I got to start another company, So I started my second company, with the first one still going. I started the second one. That second one, I started grinding, cut a lot of my expenses out of my life and just kept grinding, built that up. And then started the next and the next and the next business. And every time I saw an opportunity, I just started another business. And so now I finally got to a point where I'm just basically an entrepreneur and, the race team owner and a driver for the team. So that's how life is going right now. And then still in the reserves, in Navy reserves.
Man, that methodical process and approaching these huge goals, a lot of people can't even fathom what it's like to start a business in the first place, let alone start a business that is taking in millions of dollars in sponsorships so that you can have an opportunity to have a career that you can call your own, a passion that you can call your own. How would you tell somebody to go about setting these goals in that process? Can you walk us through what it's like to have an idea, put it down on paper, and then kind of start pursuing it?
Yeah. The process really is, it's a very simple process. It's not easy, but it is a simple process, right? So first is having a vision, right? You got to have some type of God-given vision. It can't be just you randomly sitting there and you just make some crap up. Like it has to be, when I say God-given, like you'll feel it. Like it comes to you over and over and over every single day. This particular vision, this particular idea you feel is right, continues to come to you over and over and over. And it comes to you for the right reasons. If it's immoral or it's coming to you for the wrong reasons, and it's probably not God-given, it's coming from somewhere else. But if you feel like it's right, like you're going to be doing good things, it's going to help elevate your life, elevate other people's life, solve a problem in society. When I say problem, not like you got to go cure cancer, right? Like when I say problem, like people want something and no, there's not enough answers out there for it. And you're providing a better answer for people. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like you're solving a problem, right? Like for me, my first business was putting on drag racing events. That's not like a society problem, right? But the issue in Southern California was there wasn't enough drag racing events that catered towards a certain crowd of cars, right? They were all catered towards a certain different group of cars, and people didn't like that. So people were racing in the streets all the time instead. Well, I helped solve that street racing problem. I literally have taken street racers off the street and have them now at these events so they're not doing this illegal stuff anymore. So I solved the problem, which was a little bit of a society problem, keeping people safe on the streets, but also having these racers give them an outlet to go race. And they're paying money to come, and spectators are paying money to come see them because they want to see these cars and trucks and bikes battle it out. And they're really, really cool builds. So that was the first business where I solved the problem. So have this clear vision that comes to you over and over and over. And then once this vision, you have it, now you have to take the next step, which is you have to insanely and obsessively believe that you can make it happen. That's what I'd say, those two words, insanely and obsessively. Like there is nothing that can change your mind. Nobody else is right. You're the only one who's right. You know it's going to work, and that's it. Now, you got to be, you have to be humble enough to pivot along the way, because there's going to be times where you start it and maybe like you had this certain direction, but you just need to pivot a little bit so that you can make sure that you get to the overall mission, right? Believe in the mission, insanely and obsessively believe in the mission, but don't commit to just one path. Like paths can always change throughout the whole thing. You might have to pivot here, pivot there. It just has to happen. But at the end of the day, there's still an overall mission. So insanely and obsessively believe in it, because there's a reason why you have to. The reason why is because the next step, which is the third step, is the action step. You got to take action towards it every single day, whether it's just an email or getting on LinkedIn or Instagram, whatever, marketing to people, connecting with people, networks, meetings, whatever, finding ways to make things better, looking at what the issues were in your last, business deal. What can you do to fix that? How can I be better? Researching, learning, taking classes, whatever it is, just taking action towards it every single day. Because as you put so much energy into something that you had a vision for, like came to you, and you insanely and obsessively believe in it, and then you put action towards it every single day, it will start putting energy back towards you. And it might take a little bit at first, but it will work. Like you will start getting to where you want to go. And so now you go into the fourth step. The fourth step now is faith, right? Because as you start going through this, you had the vision. So you saw the end. You already saw it. The vision is the end. You already saw it. You insanely and obsessively believe in it because you see it, right? If we see something, we believe in it, right? And then you're putting action towards it every single day. Now you have to have faith, because as you're putting that action every day, what you saw in the beginning eventually starts to get very dark. And it always happens. There's never been a time where it didn't happen. It starts getting really dark. You're at the bottom of the mountain. You looked up and you saw the tip. Start walking up that mountain and you're going to get into the forest. And when you're in the forest, you don't see the tip of the mountain anymore. It's dark. And in that forest, there's snakes, there's tigers, there's lions, there's bears, there's pitfalls, there's caves, there's yetis, there's all these things along the way. There's hunters, there's stray bullets flying. There's all these things that are happening. There's people that you're with going up this mountain. Some of them start backstabbing you. Like, there's all this stuff that happens as you're climbing up this mountain. So you have to have faith that no matter what, at the bottom of the mountain, I saw the top. So as I'm going through this dark forest now, the top didn't disappear. I can't see it anymore, but it didn't disappear. It's still there. So just keep going, because just as much as it hurts going up, if you're halfway up the mountain, it hurt getting up there, but it hurts just as bad actually going back down. Don't believe me? Go to a mountain, go climb, go hike up a mountain and start coming back down. It hurts the same coming right back down. So why go down? Keep going up. You're crawling. So you have to have faith that the top of the mountain's still there. And then the very end, when you finally get there, or at the very end, the last part of this whole thing, the fifth step is just the whole never quit, right? Because you're having faith this whole time, you never quit. If it's not about, in life, a lot of people like don't jump into things because they think that, hey, I'm never going to make it, whatever. It's not about that we aim too high and we miss. It's usually because we aim too low and we hit, right? So don't quit. Like, don't undersell yourself. Don't quit. Stay with it. Like, you will get there, right? If you keep on showing up to the barbershop every single day, eventually someone's going to give you a haircut. Don't quit. Stay with it. And if you can follow those steps right there, those 5 steps, you'll make it. And also, too, don't be an a-hole, right? Help people.
That was a beautiful analogy and wonderfully said. Those steps are very, very simple, and they sound just very reminiscent of a lot of advice that we hear in starting our venture, especially 1 Mile, 1 Veteran, is, right now we're currently in the forest, but we know that there is a summit to come. And so for you, I know that your parents gave you a drive, you and your siblings, to seize opportunities when they presented yourself, and also to continue to not be an a-hole and help other people along the way. But what in your life provides you with the courage to pursue your dreams?
The courage, it really kind of goes back to the faith thing, right? Obviously, like, believing in God and knowing that he gave me a vision. So, like, if I got the vision and I see it, that means the deal is already done in the future. So that gives me all the courage in the world to know that I can go after it. If I can't see it in my mind, if I didn't see that initial vision, then there is nothing done. What are you aiming for? Like, you're going after nothing, right? But if you can see it in the beginning like that, you clearly see what is supposed to come, where you're supposed to be, who you're supposed to become, that means it's already done. So that gives me all the courage. No matter what else is happening along the way, that gives me all the courage in the world to keep pushing and have like the biggest faith ever, because it's done. It's already done. Why am I going to stop? I can't see it anymore. It doesn't matter. I already saw it. It's done.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so, faith is so integral to life. And that's why we encourage people to develop a spiritual practice in their everyday lives, because it's only going to benefit them. It's only going to give them a stronger resolve and knowing that there's a better future ahead of them. And for yourself, you're still making way in this new career and gaining experience with every race, whether it's drag racing or drifting events. You post all of them on your YouTube channel, and even the NASCAR tracks that we can watch live events and recordings. And with every new venture has its challenges, setbacks, and turmoils. And unfortunately, like you had mentioned earlier, yours are often captured by the media and seen by your supporters and fans of the sport. So how do you go about handling the pressures while on the track and keeping your business operating, as well as the public scrutiny when you experience a setback?
Yeah, setbacks are going to happen. It's always going to happen. For me, I look at a setback as a set up for a phenomenal comeback. So every time something bad happens, I'm like, whatever. I just smile. I'm like, something really good's about to happen. If that just happened, that means something really good's about to happen. So that's how I pretty much look at all of them. And, for me, even any kind of public scrutiny, for me, it just doesn't matter. Like, I can just look at my life. Like, if anyone says anything bad about me, one, I know I'm not a bad person, and I show people every day I'm not. So if anyone has anything bad to say, I just step back and look at my life. Like, I am out there racing professionally. I have a lot of my dream cars right now. I have this, I have that, great people around me, strong family, all that stuff. Right. So I'm like, what? Why did I care what anyone said? Because usually people were saying that don't have all that. They're missing a lot of pieces, and that's completely fine. Like that's where they're at where they're at, right? Like if it's somebody who is doing way better than me is saying that, then I'll be like, let me listen to them real quick. But usually someone who's doing way better than me isn't just going to just say bad things. They're going to be like, hey, here's what you can do to be better. They're going to help you. They're going to lift you up, right? They're not there to just tear you down. And if somebody supposedly is doing better than you, but tearing you down, they're probably not doing better than you. It's only a matter of time before they, God knows where I'm supposed to go. So if you're trying to tear down that journey or say anything bad about it, that's between you and him now, not me.
It's such a good attitude to have and good thoughts on the matter. And there are many things in life that have become overwhelming for so many people. And unfortunately, we're losing too many due to suicide, especially within the military and the veteran community. What would you like to say to somebody that's currently suffering in their own crisis?
Yeah, there is a solution to all the answers. The solution, though, does not need to be like ending your life, right? That doesn't need to be. That is not a solution. Actually, it's not. It's not. It's a Band-Aid, actually, and not a good Band-Aid either. I've had a bunch of friends who aren't here anymore because of it, and mainly military folks. People I went to Naval Academy with, served with, people I played football with, football player friends, like not here anymore, multiple. For those who are going through anything, they have to, it's tough because they do get into a mode where in somewhat of a way, in order to do that to yourself, you kind of have to have lost your mind, right, for a bit, because it's not a normal human trait to be able to be like, oh yeah, it's so easy to just, take myself out of this world. Like, that's not normal, right? So it is hard. A lot of people say, okay, man, they didn't have to do this. And yeah, we all say that, but they gotta remember that these folks their mindset has gotten to a place where it's okay. And that, somewhat of it, they kind of lost their mind, right? We have to help people before they get to that point where they lose their mind, right? It starts off by everyone being good people to each other, right? If we're all good people to each other and we always figure out ways to help people, lift people up, help people get themselves to the next level, we'd have far less suicides going on, right? People are feeling suicidal because they feel like everybody's giving up on them, or people aren't helping them anymore, people are treating them poorly, people are putting people down or making their lives miserable, whatever it is. Like, if we're just decent people, will eliminate most of the issues. It doesn't not eliminate all of them, but a lot of the issues, right? So I think it starts as people, and starts at home too, families, right? At home, families, parents teaching their kids, their little ones, like, hey, like, that's not an answer. It's never an answer. There's better ways. And ingraining that from early age, protecting what their kids see, right? You don't want to expose them to that and have other people make it seem like it's a fair answer. Like, hey, this is a way to end your problems. Like, that people are seeing it, so they think it's an answer, right? If you don't see that that's an answer, if you never knew that doing that was an answer, you would never try it. You're not just going to randomly think of it. Like, you won't try it. Like, that's not even an answer. What the heck? Like, so it starts at home. And it starts with the people around you. Protect your people, protect your close family members and your friends from being around influences that can influence them to think that that's an answer. Protect them, right? If you see it, take it off. Like, I do my best not to watch things that are negative, right? See negative stuff, I get it out of my face. I don't want that to be put in my mind, because once it's in your mind, then all of a sudden it starts becoming a possibility. Right? I don't want it to be a possibility. I don't, even when I watch movies nowadays, I mainly watch, Marvel MCU movies and DC movies and, fun action movies, but I don't even watch I don't even watch rated R stuff anymore. Like, it's, most rated, I don't, because I don't want to put any of that into my mind. Like, I don't need to have that in my mind. For what? Why should I make it okay to be super gory and this and that and watch people suffer and people get tortured and crazy things that you see in some of these movies? Why do I need to watch that? What's the point? Like why? Why should I support it? Right? No, I support positive. That's the only thing I put in my mind. That's it.
Kindness and support goes such a long way in trying to take in as much positive content as possible, while avoiding the negative, is really good tools and tips for people to just learn how to develop in their life. I've really enjoyed our conversation, Jesse. And if anyone from our audience wants to follow your journey, support your work, where can they go?
Yeah, so they can head on social media. I'm pretty much on all the platforms. Just look up my name, Jesse Iwuji. I don't have any funky names on social media. I'm not like, I don't know, the random names people make up. You just look up my name, you'll find me. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, which is now X, Threads, LinkedIn, YouTube. I'm on all those channels. Follow me on all those channels. Everything I post, like it. Everything I post, share it if you can. Everything I post, watch it through, whatever, watch it, engage with it, whatever. Engagement is key. I don't put out anything that you couldn't share to your mom, right? Like I everything I put out usually is positive, motivating, uplifting, or really, really funny, or just super entertaining and fun. Like that's it. It's just entertainment. It's fun. Nothing I put out is like negative. It's all about like just fun stuff. So it's PG-13 and it's good time. And like it, comment, share, everything.
Absolutely. Well, Jesse, thank you so much for coming and joining us on the 1 Mile, 1 Veteran podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.